Lori, hey, happy Saturday. I believe it's April 8th. Happy birthday to my sister Dawn. If you see this, it's a beautiful day in April. It's morning right now and it's gorgeous out here. Have you felt the reprieve yet? If you haven't, I want to give you some tips on how to kind of bring that on, make things better, and make it a great day. Not only a great day, but make some things start to happen. Let's manifest again. All right, I'll be right back. One lesson learned during really rough times, I think, is are you happy? Can you maintain peace in good and bad? If you're relying on your outside circumstances to keep you happy or to keep you at peace, I realized this a long time ago. I remember a time when I came into some money or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but my whole mood changed. Everything lifted. And of course, if you're waiting to pay on your bills and money comes in, of course it will, but it really lifted. And I thought to myself, what is this all about? So just 5 minutes ago, I was down in the dumps. Now I'm really lifted. Why can't I be lifted? Nothing's changed except for this money, you know? So I realized at that point that I was relying on outside circumstances to make me happy, to keep me at peace. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe you're relying on that person, and as long as everything's good with that person, there's peace. Now, I know when a loved one is hurting, our children, or if we lose someone, I understand that that brings on grief. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm saying if you're counting on that, and if that's not good, then you can't be good. Or if money's not good, then you can't be good. Then you don't have the peace that's in here, the peace that surpasses all understanding. First of all, that's what you need. You only get that from God, okay? So that's something to look at. Now, with this shift going on, a lot of people are being hit hard. I was just talking to somebody yesterday who was saying, not everybody, some people are just going around like everything's good. And I have noticed there's like a very fine line, and people might as well be wearing signs on their heads right now. And like she said, ignorance is bliss. I mean, there's different categories. There are the categories of people who just have lost all empathy, all caring for other people. They're a shell of a person. They seem to be unaffected by the shift. There are people that are just totally dead to energy. They're unaffected by the shift. There are people that are seeking, maybe believing untruths. They are affected by the shift, but yet they're believing something that's untrue that has given them a false hope. And then there are those that know the truth, seek the truth, and they're getting hit the hardest by different things. But let's keep in mind that the only thing that we can get hit with is things of this world, okay? So our souls can't be touched. So anything with a soul connection can't be touched. They're going to come at you. And when I say they, I mean the negative forces. If they haven't yet, with anything that could matter. Outside forces, financial stuff, health stuff, relationship stuff, family stuff. You got to just maintain that peace, okay? Because we know that if we can maintain the peace in the bad times, when the good times come, it's all that much better. And we'll be able to bring about the good times a lot faster. When you're getting attacked at every angle, I don't expect you to be walking around laughing and joking. But still, if you can have that peace, that's the difference, okay? Not only will you get through it faster, but you'll be able to manifest the good a lot quicker. It seems like lately through this shift, even those of us who manifest regularly have been walking in a bit of like quicksand or muck that's kind of holding us down, and it's kind of stopping the manifesting. And you're probably thinking, what is happening? There is actually a shift going on. There is actually some different energetic things going on. You're not going crazy. It's really happening. So don't beat yourself up. It's really happening, but we are on the verge of a reprieve. The day that I realized that I had finally found that peace, the peace that surpasses all understanding, was, and I can't remember the exact day, but I remember that some money came in, and I didn't know if it was going to come or not, and then it came, and it didn't really affect me. I mean, I was like, yes, good, I can pay this, this, and this, but that's it. It didn't affect me. Like, it didn't lift my mood. It didn't change my mood. And I thought, yeah. And I remember bringing it up to God. I was like, hey, wow, that didn't really affect me. So I knew the difference at that point. I was listening to some kid the other day because I watch YouTube a lot, and he was talking about how his life was so bad and blah, blah, blah. And I'm listening to him and I'm like, he was only 23. And yeah, he had gone through some difficulties with his mom and dad, but honestly, it really wasn't that bad. Um, and even my son was listening to him and he's like, oh, he's not there yet. But everything's relative, everything's relative. We all look at things differently, and everybody's suffering means just as much as everybody else's. Nobody's less than, nobody deserves more. Nobody deserves more sympathy. Nobody deserves more empathy. We all deserve empathy. We all deserve support. We all deserve to be there for each other. So how do you manifest? How do you get yourself out of this muck? First and foremost, work on yourself daily, like force it. So if you're still kind of stuck in that, and it really is an energy shift, like I said, you're not making this up, okay? Don't let anybody convince you that you're just massively depressed or anything like that. This shift is real. It's really going on. So how do you get out of it? First and foremost, decide you're going to get out of it. Say to yourself, that's it, I've had enough. And when you finally had enough, you're going to break through, okay? So I've had enough. I'm done. And now what I want you to do is get yourself a notebook. I know a lot of people hate to write, but get yourself a notebook. And if you really, really, really hate to write, like some people I know, use your phone, use a tape recorder, an iPad, whatever, and record it. So at least it's recorded, whether it's written down, whether it's recorded, it needs to be recorded, okay? And I want you to write down, first and foremost, 5 things that you're grateful for. What are you grateful for today? And if you're really, really down and you're saying nothing, think again. Think about it. Are you grateful that you can see, that you can hear, that you're breathing? I would say a roof over your head, but maybe you don't have one. I know right now I have a temporary one, but I don't have one. Whatever it is, a relationship that you have, good times that you've had in the past, whatever that is. And then what I want you to do is, after you've written those down, think about them as you're writing them down or recording them. Think about them. Give yourself at least 17 seconds to kind of dwell in that memory or in that realization of those things. Because the more that we kind of dwell in them, the more we're going to find ourselves in a place of gratitude. We're not just saying it, we're feeling it, we're knowing it. We are really grateful. And then, this sounds silly, and I tell you all the time, raise your vibration. Pull it up. Deep breath in. Pull it up again. Up over your head. I'll hold it. Raise it up. Up. Just for a second, think about anybody you're mad at, anybody that's hurt you, anybody that's done any kind of negatives that those tend to keep coming back in our mind. The enemy likes to whisper that stuff in our ear. Whether they're right or wrong doesn't matter. We don't want to dwell on that, okay? And you know what? Sometimes if you're the one that's wrong, it makes it easier because then you can fix it. But if you're not the one that's wrong, you can't fix it. All you can do is forgive. So even if you don't feel like forgiving, even if it's a horrendous act and they don't deserve forgiveness, none of us deserve forgiveness, really. Speak it out. Forgiveness is an act. It is not a feeling. It's an action. I forgive... ... That's it. Don't give it any energy. I don't want you to dwell on it and what that person did, blah, blah, blah. Don't do that. I forgive, blah, blah, blah. Just keep saying it, okay? God will help you do it. God will help you achieve it. And you'll know that you've achieved it when you're indifferent about it. Some things are really horrific. Sometimes our children are hurt. Sometimes we're hurt to a degree where the scars don't go away. But if you can, and I've been there, I've been brutally raped, and I've had some other stuff happen to me. And I can tell you that I've forgiven my attacker. And it's not that I let him off the hook or anything, but I have forgiven my attacker. And it's not that I'm indifferent about the attack. The scars are still there. But yet now I can look at it as an event that happened. I can look at him with almost sympathy for his soul. So I know that I've forgiven him. Um, I'm not saying you have to get to that point this moment, but just speak it out. Okay? So you've got gratitude, you've got forgiveness. Okay? And now I want you to start thinking about not if everything was right, but if one thing could happen today. And I want you to go outside the realm of possibility, but not too far outside the realm of possibility. Okay, you can go as far as you want, as long as you can believe it. As long as you can believe it in your mind, go as far as you want. But the reason I say don't go too far is because a lot of times we can't believe it. And if you can't believe it, you can't manifest it. You know, Jesus even said, when you pray, believe it and it'll happen. He said, when you pray to me, believe that it'll happen and it'll be yours. He said, a double-minded man should expect nothing. What does double-minded mean? It means to ask for something and then not believe it's going to happen. Jesus said that several times. And he said that several times because he knew that by nature we doubt. Don't put your faith in yourself. Put your faith in God. He can do it. He can do it. Will he do it? Yeah, he'll do it as long as you believe it. So think about something today that you want to manifest. You know, if you want to have fun with this and you really want to build, like if your faith is real low, go with little things and watch them build, manifest daily. And your faith will build. But I want you to take at least, if it's a bad day, I want you to take at least a minute or two, even if you have to run in a bathroom in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. And kind of dwell in, call it a fantasy of what you're grateful for, the good times you've had, and what you're going to manifest. Okay? And when you go to manifest something, don't say I will have, say I do have. My bills are paid. My relationship is here. I'm in love. Whatever. You know, let me tell you something about relationship, because I get a lot of people that say, oh, you know, he or she hasn't called yet or whatever. Do you know that the more that you obsess over something, you actually repulse the universe by it? So have you ever met somebody who, just because they're so clingy, just because they won't let go, they actually push you away from them? When you see their number, you won't answer the phone. When you see them in a grocery store, you try to hide in the other aisle. Come on, we've all met somebody like that, right? Come on, admit it. You don't have to admit it to me, but admit it to yourself, okay? Well, if you're obsessing over someone, or if you're like always in that, you know, oh, I want him to call, I want her to call, blah, 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 you become that person to the universe. The universe isn't going to give you what you want. It actually blocks that from coming. So you're actually making it further away. What you need to do is you need to put it out there. Okay, I want so-and-so to call. Even better, I want the perfect person to call. Let God pick. But if you insist on picking, go ahead. I want so-and-so to call. But you got to be prepared to get what, you know, to take what you ask for. So say there's this perfect person to you. You think it's the perfect person. We'll call him John. And you want John, and you want John, and you want John, and you're prepared to deal with whatever baggage John has. Go ahead, put it out there. Don't obsess over it. Put it out there. Put it as your manifesting thing. Let it go. Believe he's going to call you. Talk to him telepathically. All you got to do to talk to somebody telepathically, think about him. John, could I have permission to send you a thought? And you might not hear anything, but you'll know it's a block if it's a no. You'll get like blocked off. But John, call me. Do that for a couple days, it'll happen. But if you're not prepared to let God pick, then when John calls and John gets together with you and you got what you desired, be prepared to deal with John and all his baggage. Maybe John has a girlfriend. Maybe John is a total jerk. You know what I mean? Be prepared to deal with all that. Does that make sense to you? Sometimes it's better to let God pick. But, you know, don't obsess over it. That's the hardest part. You know, you put it out there, you let it go. But if you really think about who God is and how powerful God is, It can happen. Now, if you're really down and you've been attacked by the shift, you're thinking, nah, nah, nah. You know how many people have called me? You know what's funny is people talk with me and I'll get these calls back like, oh, what you said happened and blah, blah, blah. And I get those all the time. And those are great. I love that. Keep the feedback coming. But then when something doesn't happen the way that I said it was going to happen, or if somebody chooses to go a different route, so they create a different outcome, or if it hasn't happened yet. I've had this happen too, where people will call, it hasn't happened, and they're angry at me. Don't get angry at me. I can't guarantee. Sometimes I do. You've seen me do it. Sometimes I can guarantee, but 99.99 times I don't guarantee. And we can change things. Are you obsessing over it? Are you doing something different? I mean, I'm not blaming you either. And then again, there's that. I am 90%, 98% accurate, but there's that 2% that I'm not. Don't get mad at me. Start to look at things like a blessing, you know? Anyway, I noticed that people do that, but those same people, when something will happen, they call me up and they're like, hey, it happened, you know? I don't want to be praised and I don't want to be put down. I just do what I do. You know what I mean? You don't have to do either. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Happy manifesting. Now, this is what I want to tell you just in a nutshell. You want to raise your vibration. Raise it up. Raise it up. Talk to God. Remember who God is. Because if you remember who God is, you're going to start whizzing through these manifestations. Okay? So every time you start feeling down, try to remember who He is. Not who you are, who He is. Focus on what you're grateful for. Not only write it down, but really focus on it, relish in it. Forgive, 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 forgive. Next, believe. Believe it. Believe it. Have faith in God and who He is, and believe that what you put out there is going to happen. Therefore, you're not obsessing. Just put it out there. Voila, there it is. I'm telling you, it's going to work. We're coming out of this shift just for, I don't know if it's a temporary reprieve. I hope it lasts a while. The attacks are real. I'm not telling you they're not real. And just, I hate when people say, hey, positive thoughts and everything will get better. If you're getting attacked, you know that that's not that easy. But you got to make a conscious decision to break through that, to guard off those attacks, you know, to stand up, to know who God is, to stand in the promises of God through the attacks and start shooting those arrows right back. All right, guys, happy manifesting. Have a great day. And you know what? I'm available to talk to. It's Saturday, April 8th. I'm going to put a 15% discount out on sessions if anybody wants to talk. All right, you guys, take care.